Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to our session today on our return of experience on using Odoo really to support the end-to-end processes of our company. And today we will also focus more specifically on the supply chain and the logistic processes. Before we start, to put the things into context, a quick overview of Eggo. Eggo is a family-owned business that was founded in 2007. We are operating in 6 countries, mostly in Europe, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Spain. And more recently, we have opened store in Africa, in Senegal, and in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. This represents approximately 80 point of sales, which are not actually point of sales, but showroom. And the entire network, the entire chain is operated by 600 internal employees. On a yearly basis, to give you an idea, we do install 20,000 kitchen, and we do more than kitchen, but on a yearly basis, and this represents approximately a turnover of 190 million euro a year. We are famous for the kitchens, famous, or at least we hope that you know us as a kitchen reseller. But as you can see, we do have solution for the entire house. So we do also sell wardrobes, but we also have solution for the restroom, dining room, bedroom. So whatever you need for your house, don't hesitate to pass by one of our showroom. What we want to show to you today is a bit, first of all, the specificity of the customer journey. So what happened for a customer that enters an Eggo showroom? How did we take that into account in our digital transformation? And how that one was translated into 3 main milestones. And then we will go for a 15-minute movie. Unfortunately, it's only 15 minutes. To present it completely, entirely, we would probably need more 1 hour and a half. So you will only have a glimpse of flavor of what is it to support the entire value chain of a business like ours within Odoo. If we still have time, we'll go for some, I would say, takeaway and question and answer at the end of the presentation. So, the context. What is it to be an Eggo customer? Fundamentally, 3 things that you need to remember. The first one is, on average, a project takes 4 to 5 months to be executed from the beginning to the end. Which means that during that time frame that is quite consequent, a lot of things can happen, and fundamentally the project is handed over from one department to another multiple times. So this is key because we need to ensure coherencies through the entire process execution. And why do we need that? Because 1 out of 2 customers that enter an Eggo showroom has been recommended by another Eggo customer. And we want to keep, I would say, that positive circle to keep on, I would say, creating a future customer within the company. And something that is very specific to us as well is that most of the value chain is supported by internal resources. So most of the department, whether you speak about IT, human resources, marketing, sales operation, supply chain, delivery, customer care, all of this is done internally through our internal resources, and that has had actually an impact on our choice of an ERP solution. I told it already. So usually we had a landscape, an IT landscape that was quite heterogeneous. We had multiple applications per department. And we were convinced, our motto was that if we want to be relevant and efficient toward our customers, first of all, we needed to be relevant and efficient between us. And hence the idea to go for, I would say, an ecosystem that was driven towards efficiency, first of all, internally. And how that was then translated out of that landscape, we basically adapted and migrated most of the application within the Odoo suite. You will have an overview of that in a moment, while keeping, I would say, the specificity of the kitchen businesses outside when they cannot actually be implemented through Odoo, like the kitchen drawing tool, or I would say the ADI integration with our suppliers. Without going too much into the details, it was a three-step approach. So we have had three main go live. The first one was 1 year ago about implementing all the retail processes and all the master data required to support that. We can give you more details afterward if you want. This year we have implemented a second go live with all the operational departments, so mainly logistic, customer care, and with part of the human resources department as well. And by the end of this year, we will finalize the migration or the implementation by adding the last remaining missing pieces, the accounting department, but also, I would say, a BI add-on to allow us to have reports on all the elements that cannot be supported natively by Odoo. Alors, enough talking. I will now hand the floor to Martin that will show you, and that will start the explication of an end-to-end process as seen and as supported by Eggo through Odoo.
All right. Odoo as the angular stone of our Eggo business. When a client wants to have an appointment at our store, he can do it in three ways. They can call the store, they can go directly to the store, or they can do it online. As you can see here, our client is doing it online and they put all their details directly on our website, and this will create an opportunity. The opportunity will then be used by the shop manager so that he can call the client to make the appointment. As you can see here, the appointment is directly in our CRM app. The shop manager will then take the appointment for him or for one of his colleagues, because he has also the agenda of everyone. As you can see, our opportunity is now in qualified. Once the client is coming to the stores, the shop manager will then check all the contact details of the customer regarding his name, his address, his number, his email address, and that's just so that he can have all the information necessary for the delivery, because that's the most important thing at our place, in our company. After that, the shop manager will then go in the shop to make a discovery with the client. They will then test the materials, they will sit on the chairs, they will use the samples, they will try, they will touch, just so that the shop manager can understand what does the client want and what does the client want. That will be necessary so that we can go on our design tool that you will just see afterwards. He will then create the quote with the information of the client. If the client is a company, we will then create the company with the VAT, for example, and with all the necessary information and the contact details as well. You can see here that we have integrated our design tool directly into Odoo. In this case, it's Fusion, and we will also ask the client when they want to have their fitting in their house. We'll then open the drawing tool. The drawing tool is directly connected to Odoo, so all the articles that are designed in there will go directly into our Odoo system. We can then apply the promos, apply which delivery methods we want, and also the delivery dates that we want our kitchen to be delivered. But if the client does not want to sign directly the quote, he can also go back to his house and sign it at his place. Indeed, the shop manager will just send our email template with all the, 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 the information of his sales order, and then the client can sign it online at his house in his sofa. The client can also ask for correction, of course. We have a 20% online signature, so it's a lot. When the sale order is signed, it's then the operator that will check all our necessary information, and they will then order all the articles at our suppliers. Because we have a lot of suppliers, we have added a button so that we can send all the orders directly within one click. Then her work is done for now, of course, and then the logistics will receive all the articles. Ouch. 10 minutes. Ah, ça marchait. Il dit que ça marchait. Tiens-le comme... Ah. We're good? We're good? All right. Let's start again.
So he's gonna start again and then I'll jump.
Normalement, si. Non? Si, normalement. Attends, vas-y, je te laisse faire. Ah, c'est cool.
We cannot move it to the 5 minutes later on. On n'a pas full screen. Bah, je vais essayer. I will try something else.
We work in the supply chain, we're used to it.
On va la prendre ici.
All right, so next step is in the supply chain is the warehousing. Like I tried to say before, this is our warehouse in Rin near Namur, 10,000 square meter. And the first thing we had to do in order to work in Odoo was to define some zones, like for example, of course, the reception zone, the picking zone, the put away zone, the docking zone, that's normal, but also a VAS zone, so the value added services. And what you see here is the zone for the after sales. So everything that goes wrong, unfortunately, goes there. And we need to define those zones in order to create routes and transfers. First thing we do, of course, is the reception of the goods. We all do that with a scan from Odoo that you can see here. So we scan every furniture one by one, and we create what we call a pack. You create the pack in order to move the goods in one go. So you don't have to scan all the goods again to move it from one place to another. So that's what's happening here. The next step is the put away. So like I said, you created a pack, so you can just scan the ticket of the pack, the barcode of the pack, and put it away. And you scan the destination location that you will see here, the yellow one. That's the destination location. On the other part, on the other side of the warehouse is the appliances. So it's another stream where we receive the appliances from different suppliers. And we cannot create a pack yet because we don't have all the elements for one customer. So that will come later on. As you can see, on the left side is what the operator sees, and what we try to do is have a different color for every stage of the process in order to always know where is the operator. The next thing that we see is the KPIs that are hanging in our warehouse. It's very important for the operator to know at any time how much actions do I still have to do. Like for example, how many pickings do I have to do, how many tabletops do I have to recondition. Another great part of Odoo is that we know in advance what we're going to deliver, so we can already in advance put goods from reserve onto the circuit and so have a higher productivity on the day of the picking. What we also do, and we didn't do before, is a rolling inventory, which means that at the end of the year we have an easier audit and we don't have to close the warehouse in order to do the audit of the goods. So this was the optimization of the stock, so where we get the goods from upper level onto the reserve. The video is a little bit mixed up because it's not the original one, I see, so thank you. What we see here is what we call the pilots. They don't have to be in the warehouse to see everything in real time what's happening in the warehouse. The advantage of that is that if you open a second warehouse somewhere else, they can still manage that warehouse from that same spot. As you can see, they have all the KPIs regarding how many deliveries, how many time do we need, what are the actions to do. And they can assign new tasks for the people who know Odoo, new tasks to all the people and win some time on those tasks. So, like I said before, the pack is not created immediately for the appliances. It's created once we have all the goods from one customer, and that's what's happening here. So he's going to do a picking of all the different appliances from one customer, and he's going to create that pack. So later on, you can move all the goods of that pallet just with one barcode and not have to scan all the barcodes again. Like I said, the color on the top of the screen is a different color for the people who already saw it. It was a blue one, it's a yellow one, it's a red one, and here is the brown one. Once the package is done, he will put them in the picking zone for the furniture, and someone from the zone of the furniture will come and pick those goods, bring them to the furniture zone, where he will also scan the location where he will put the goods. So that's Mohamed who is doing that, and you're going to see, again, we go into the scan, we can see per person what does he have to do, and he knows exactly what to do, and the color is again another color. In the meantime, we optimized the planning and we loaded the planning into our system. What does that do? That changes all the time windows of the transfer, so we know at what time we have to prepare the goods, do the picking, and have the good sequence on the dock. In the meantime also, an SMS is sent to the customer with a defined time frame where we're going to deliver the goods.
We are now entering the third phase, which is fundamentally all the goods. Do you hear me? Oh, yeah, okay. All the goods leaving the warehouse. Here you can see that we have added in the barcode app some predefined filters that allow one truck driver to select all the stock move assigned either to him or to a specific truck on a specific date. This allowing him to scan only the transfer needed for a specific date and to make sure that the truck is properly loaded in the right order. As soon as the truck is loaded, through the field services application, the truck driver can also have the contact details. Should he basically have again a look at either the address of the customer because he cannot find the house, or if for any reason he needs to contact the customer because of an unexpected event or delay. Renato told us earlier about the delivery planning. What is important to know is that we don't use Odoo to do the planification. We use an external system for that unfortunately doesn't provide us with web services API to optimize it real time. So we use, I would say, the standard native function of export-import from Odoo to export all the project, optimize the planning, and then re-import the delivery date from the tool. Our truck has now reached the customer location, and for the last time, we will scan all the furnitures. Why do we do that? Because we want to make sure that we will deliver all the boxes for that customer, and only these boxes. We must prevent at any cost to drop one box that was not foreseen either to the previous or to the next customer. And the customer will then be prompted to sign the delivery note. Once that is done, it is now a new services that will come into the game, which is the fitting services. We have internal fitters and external fitters, and we have tons of tasks to be done on a daily basis. We have created in Odoo, and it's a fully custom dev, an algorithm that will then assign all the available tasks to the available fitters based on mainly 3 different criteria: the languages of the customer, the type of intervention, and the algorithm will reduce and optimize the amounts of kilometers driven by the fitters to optimize the concrete work hours that can be achieved. For a kitchen like this one, it's a pretty big one. You can imagine that it's the only task that our fitter will do on that day. And we will then go back to the field services app, because we want the fitter to reflect in a worksheet the exact execution of the kitchen. So we want to know whether everything has been fitted properly and completely, because if for any reason, let's say that you have a missing furniture or a broken furniture or something happened during the installation process, we want to be able to take a remediation action as soon as possible. And the fact that the fitters give us that information in real time allow us to take a remediation action much quicker than before. Like for any worksheet, you have the opportunity to add fitter comment, customer comments, pictures, and like for delivery note, we ask the customer to sign it to make sure that basically customer and Eggo are assigned on the status of the project. So we are now done from a customer point of view, but from a company point of view, we still need to validate that the project has been formally done and can be closed. So the operators in the head office will again check, for example, that all the payments have been correctly received. And I was talking about remediation action. If for any reason anything needs to be reordered, it's at that moment that the operator will recreate the purchase order required to finalize the kitchen. Hopefully, in our case, everything went smoothly, which allowed Caroline, here our customer, to benefit from her kitchen straight away. And this is definitely the positive loop that we want to have. We hope that she will be an happy customer and that she will become an ambassador of the brand. Alors, that was a kind of a lot of information in 15 minutes. I'll do it this way. Whoop. So out of a 14 months implementation for that second phase, a few elements that we wanted to share with you that have kind of surprised us. The first one being also really anticipated the process to migrate all the master data from the legacy system to Odoo could only be finalized very, very late. Actually, we still struggle at day -1 before the go live. And this is mostly because whenever we did such import, they needed to be validated against the final development and configuration. And so there were tons of things that we couldn't validate actually before the very end of the implementation process. And on the other hand, something that we anticipated that their created value was the rehearsal of the go live and of the master data import. Because when we started, the first iteration of that go live was like 1 week to import all the data, to start the integration, reload them, migrate the code to Odoo, etc., etc. And through the different iteration, we were able to reduce it from almost 1 week to almost 1 day. For those who attended our presentation 1 year ago, we said that there is usually value not only for us, but through the entire ecosystem. And here we have again a good example. we wanted to add the external filter straight in Odoo, because we wanted to be able to have the information real time of whatever happens at the customer location. But now, for example, we see added value in the fact that these external filters, now that they are embedded in Odoo, have the possibility to load straight, for example, their invoice in Odoo, but also to have the status on whether they have been approved and by when they will be paid. So the ecosystem in itself always creates value. And something that's very specific to us, we have a consequent IT team and we want to take over, I would say, the support of Odoo internally. The journey to train your internal resources on learning the Python framework, the Odoo framework, really takes time. So that's something that we've initiated a few months ago, but don't underestimate that task. It's really huge and you have to give to your resources all the time and all the support they need to be able to achieve that. More on a side note, you have seen many dashboards in our presentation. We use the Ninja app, and one handy thing about it is that it can really be fully handed over to the business. So if you speak about creating a new dashboard, optimizing or adapting them, this can be done fully and autonomously by the business, allowing, in our case, the IT department to move and to work on other subjects. So that was it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you a lot first for this presentation. We can see the evolution from last year to this year. In terms of question were a bit short in terms of timing, so I will propose that you go directly to them to ask all the questions you have, and they will be happy to to help you.
Probably at the bar.
But thank you again.
Thank you.